The first video looked at how the track was all set up. This video will take a closer look at the trains themselves, which were in somewhat better condition than the original track after decades in the damp basement. The first video showed this little 1061 engine running around the board. This engine is a very low-end plastic motored model from the early 1960s. It runs forward only and isn't particularly maintainable without special tools. To even get to the single oiling point, you had to press out a pin, which broke on the way out. For now, a 12-gauge copper wire is serving as the pin. The engine runs, but it's very noisy and sometimes runs well and other times barely moves. 30 or so years ago, a much younger me tried to detail it with silver model paint. This engine would benefit from being shot with plain black paint. This is a Model 8040 engine from 1971, apparently the only year it was manufactured. It is also a plastic shell unit, but has a forward reverse switch on the top, a nice maintainable motor inside, and it runs like a sewing machine. The tender and cars of this train probably belong to the 1061 engine, since there are no pictures available showing the 8040 being sold in a set with this style of tender. The cars are basic plastic models with plastic trucks and metal wheels. The couplers are molded as one piece with the truck, and only the black ladder car has magnetic activated couplers. This train has some issues that need attention. This engine was also subjected to the schoolboy silver paint detail, so it is kind of ratty looking also. It would benefit greatly from a fresh coat of black paint, as would the tender immediately behind it. The coupler on the blue flat car broke off some long time ago. Right now there is a black zip tie linking the tender and flat car together. There's no repair for this other than drilling out the rivet holding the truck to the flat car body and replacing the entire assembly. The caboose is deformed on the top from an attempt in the past to make it into a lighted car, which failed because the bulb overheated and deformed the plastic. Replacing the caboose is the only way to repair this, and then its front truck coupler assembly could be transplanted to the blue flat car to correct its issues as well. Despite the cosmetic issues, this train runs nice and navigates the entire board without issues. The tender is very light and makes a good test car because if there's anything wrong with the track, it will derail easily. It negotiates all the turnout switches here without any problems. This is a Model 1688E, manufactured probably in 1938. Dad had it marked 1940 on the box it was stored in, but according to Lionel in 1940 this model would have been painted black, and the last year for the gunmetal gray was 1938. This engine has a direction control unit instead of a simple forward-reverse switch, and a functioning headlight. The direction control unit works, but it's a bit dodgy shifting into forward, and the switch that enables or disables it does not stay in position. Therefore, at the moment, it has a bit of rubber tubing holding the switch in the disabled position, so it will just run forward. The tender is a whistling tender that would probably work if I had the correct control box to trigger it. Right now, the pickup wire is disconnected because when the train goes over the bumps and interrupts on the turnout switches, the relay shakes and momentarily engages the blower, which may not be the best thing for it. Both the engine and tender will probably get sent to a Lionel repair center after the holidays. The tender to have the whistle system brought up to proper operation, and the engine needs to be rewired because it has the old 1930s cloth insulated wire which is failing, plus the direction control unit needs to be looked at and probably rebuilt. The cars on this train are in okay condition. They are all metal, including the truck's wheels and the old style couplers. Some of the couplers need new springs to stay closed, and there's a bit of surface corrosion on all of the cars from the damp environment they were stored in. They are intact and undamaged otherwise, no dents or missing parts. This train is very heavy, and you can feel the floor vibrate when it goes over the turnout switches. It also runs very fast and will go fast enough to flip off the rails on the curves. It does not run smoothly at slow speeds, but it will run all day at a faster pace. New motor brushes and a general overhaul will probably help with that. but for a 75-year-old model it runs surprisingly well. That pretty much covers all there is to see with these. They are very loud when running, which is why the narration was done as a separate audio track. Otherwise it would have required shouting into the camera to be heard over the clattering and rumbling these things make while running.